Now you guys can see. This is obviously not the most professional layout, but this is my first time doing this in a while. First time solo streaming in a long time. You know, with XDL, with just like a rash of team reports, and now things have slowed down. And yeah, I wanted to try streaming a little bit. Also, like classes have started back up, and so I'm no longer working full time, which means I have more time during the day, I guess. Especially like probably Monday mornings, probably better than Friday mornings. But I figure I kept putting it off. Like the plan was Mondays and Thursdays, Monday morning, Thursday evening, but I kept putting it off. So I figure, let me just start, and then we'll figure it out from there. But yeah, thank you all for tuning in, and hopefully we can pick up as we go. So things that I want to cover today. I'm happy to talk about, or I'd be excited to talk about my run last weekend in Desafio. Hopefully you guys have watched my team report with Mike. But Mike, of course, won that tournament, so I figured I should really let him do most of the talking, because he was the champion. But I did give a quick recap of my tournament. I don't mind talking a little more in depth. Let's see. I want to figure out what the heck I'm going to use tomorrow. If I'm playing in the Desafio Latam, I think I'm going to play. Worst case, obviously, I just use the same team, maybe with some slight adjustments. But I would like to use something else. I would like to try out maybe a different restricted. I've pretty much only used like Calyrex and Zacian with a little bit of Kyogre and Xerneas so far. So if you guys have suggestions for which restricted to use, especially if you have like a team, like an established team, then I would definitely be willing to try that out. And yeah, that's kind of the plans for today. We'll see how it goes. I had class today morning, and what happens when I have class in the morning is I like drink coffee before class, but the class is only an hour, and that's my only class for the day. So like, I'm very caffeinated right now, even though it's very early for me. And so at some point I'm probably going to crash, at which point I'm going to call it, or get hungry and like decide I'm going to get lunch. But yeah, we're chilling. Yeah, and thank you for the follows, guys. I really appreciate it. I have a weak preference for Twitch. I think that once we get to affiliate, I'm probably only going to be streaming on Twitch, just because I think it's a more sustainable platform. It's just like the bigger platform for Pokemon right now. So we'll see. But for now, obviously, YouTube is the bigger platform that I have, and so I'm going to kind of stick to doing both for a little bit. Thank you for the follow. All right, so I'm just gonna play some Rain Bats until we start to get a little bit more people in the stream. But yeah, I do, and also like I said, I'm very happy to answer any questions you guys might have about VGC, about whatever. Again, tomorrow I'm playing in Desafio. Tomorrow I am playing Jamie Boyd in the grand finals of the XDL, and so that video will probably come out Sunday or Monday. That should be really fun. Jamie is, a fantastic player. You'll hear me compliment him a lot in the intro. I mean, he is one of the most creative team builders in the world, undoubtedly. And so it's just like one of those things where like, who really knows what he's going to run? But it should be fun. It should be like a good time. That was not Citrus Berry. That, I guess, is probably close combat with White Herb. That's what they normally run on Rambats, Hawlucha. I can live that, right? I'm a Celesteela. Yeah, there's the White Herb. Yo, what's good, James? Why can't you play Series 10? I thought you of all people would love the non-Dynamax formats with just like fake out spam and whatnot. It's like Ultra Series. How do you deal with unburdened Hawlucha? You put enough pressure onto it that it can't like fully set up. Hawlucha is definitely one of the scariest things in Rain Bats because it gets a Swear Stance off and then you can just max it. But when they're forced to lead it, it's a lot worse because you know that it's there and you can like play around it. Oh, that's sick. Living that is huge. Yeah, what are you guys' thoughts on Series 10? I'm like, it's growing on me. I thought it was a like, it is not the same as like, as like VGC 19 or VGC 18. People compare it to that, but like, I think that you end up with way more fake out wars. You didn't have like there was one double fake out team in VGC 19. It was like Kangaskhan and Incineroar, you know. And this is like fundamentally different because of how oppressive the combination of Rillaboom and Incineroar are. And so it's interesting that like, I mean, it's still interesting because we still see like innovation, right? And that's kind of what drives the format for me, is watching people figure out solutions to the oppressive problems. And the like Entei's really cool solution to everyone spamming these Incineroar Rillaboom cores. Entei does really well into those. It was really interesting to see how Entei went from like a pick on Calyrex teams that people weren't really expecting to it found a place on this like people slowly realized this Pokemon is crazy. It was also on Bingji's Palkia team that was really common. That did well in the one Victory Road tournaments, Battle Frontier tournament. I think it was Victory Road that he did well in. And so he went from it went from like this kind of niche pick that people could see why it was being used, but it wasn't necessarily the most common Pokemon, to something that I'm gonna read this to something that like people put on Groudon teams and they were like, wow, this Pokemon's broken. What if I just find the way to enable it as well as possible? And that's kind of what people did, right? With the Groudon team, the Groudon Cherrim stuff kind of fell out of favor, but it was really good, partially because Zacian teams were really weak to it, and then Zacian teams had to adapt, but partially because it was just like, Entei is this really powerful Pokemon into what teams looked like. What if you just like try to abuse that? Oh no. And try to abuse that as much as possible. And now we don't see that teams as much because people have sort of started to adapt to Entei, as you see with like the Pelipper team that we just featured. Yeah, coexisting formats would have been cool. I think that's kind of what they're going for right now. They're kind of going for the dynamic that TCG has, where you have two different types of events. I don't really play Pokemon. I don't know anything about Pokemon TCG, so I shouldn't talk too much about it. But my understanding is that they have two different types of format. Oh, shoot. And so you can pick your favorite. And so like if they do this thing where they are alternating between restricted formats and non-restricted formats, like they have for the Series 7 through Series 10, then, which is I guess a full year now almost, then you might just be able to like pick and choose which regionals you want to go to based on whether it's restricted or non-restricted, which might be an interesting dynamic. Let's see. How do I not lose? I'm gonna win on Poltergeist. Oh shoot, there's an Yveltal. I might not win on Poltergeist. I gotta win on Porygon-Z, since I have to. I'm gonna try to live an attack and then KO this thing, because I don't think anything outspeeds it. It's 195. Yeah, I don't think outspeeds it. Meowstic outspeeds it if I Thunder Wave it first, but that doesn't really help me. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna lose this. Maybe I'm supposed to put Meowstic out. Yeah, I could have done something different. We're just gonna have to max PZ. I also don't like flip-flopping formats. I think that it's just like it takes me a while to learn a format is the main problem. Like you might notice that I don't really play much in the beginning of formats, but that's not true. I'm actually playing like a decent amount. I just suck. It takes me so long to figure out like how to get good at it. It takes me like a month before I feel like I'm cutting tournaments consistently. And that month has kind of started just about elapsed, and that's why I think I felt a lot more comfortable in Series 10 more recently. But it sucks to have to like relearn everything over and over again. It's very frustrating for sure. And then also, uh, I like seeing these innovations. It doesn't need to be these like big changes every time, but you kind of remove the small innovations that happen over the course of a format when you focus down on like the switching formats every so often. Wow, this person got Zacian Eviltal. I was never winning this. Holy crap. PZ dies if I leave it. I sack Celesteela? Yeah. Maybe Celesteela can beat it. It's just a pure fairy type. What are my thoughts on Dragapult? Dragapult's sick. Dragapult is something that like started to see popularity. Okay, I don't think the crit mattered there. Dragapult started to see popularity, like niche popularity. I saw it on a Japanese team with Dragapultation, and I used it in World Cup one week, and I won that week. And I thought it was just like the best part of the team, honestly. And then, oh, okay, we're still alive. Whoa, that's crazy. I thought it was the best part of the team. We tried putting it on Pelipper stuff, and it was pretty mediocre then. It has its uses on like the Groudon teams that we saw, because you to no one's surprise, the like Groudon Entei team is pretty weak to Kyogre, and so Dragapult is pretty good into Kyogre. It resists its main attacks, and it hits it pretty hard. And there aren't a ton of protects, right? It ignores the grass types that are the other big damage dealers on those teams. I think I've just lost. I might need to crit the Shadow Ball. Yeah, okay. It's like, yeah, Dragapult does pretty well into Kyogre stuff specifically, but also it does really well into like these Fire, Water, Grass Alaki course, because it just like hits all that stuff. The best part I think about Dragapult is that Dragon Darts is actually a really, really good move. I don't think people like fully appreciated how good Dragon Darts was in a Dynamax format when like you could like doing 50 base power attack to a Dynamax Pokemon is very little. Even 100 base power attack to a Dynamax Pokemon neutral attack is very little. But it was so crazy to say, okay, if you protect, I'm just doing like a really, really powerful amount of damage to my opponent on the slot that didn't protect. It was just like really cool. Dragon Darts is another one of those moves that like is built for Dynamax, and when Dynamax is gone, we're gonna like fully understand how powerful it is. Same with like, oh, you switch in a fairy type to take like half damage on this. Well, actually, I'm just going to double the other slot. The auto retargeting mechanics that only Dragon Darts has is actually like, it's a really cool mechanic that is. Again, one of those things that you don't fully appreciate until you play without Dynamax, but probably still needs to be like worked on. Phantom Force is a really bad move without Dynamax, because it's not, max Phantasm. I've seen one person run Dragon Dance, Baton Pass, Dragon Darts, and I don't know what the last move is. It might have been Sucker Punch, might have been Protect. That was like a cool set, maybe a little gimmicky, but yeah, like just being able to play Dragon Darts, I think, is so powerful. Yeah, that's Zom. Zom has been running it. I don't think that I've seen. There's been some Bandit. Yeah, Bandit Pult was the team that was the original Japanese team that I saw it on. I was running Life Orb on my Kyogre team, on Mike and my Kyogre team, and then we were running. What else? I've seen some Sash. The cool interaction is that Sash is, I guess, on the Dragon Dance Baton Pass set, because you get to live and attack, and you get to outspeed everything. Sucker Punch is the other move that people are running that makes it good, because if you don't have Psychic Terrain up, you can just Oko Calyrex, and that's also really convenient. Yeah, I imagine that there's also just some like support sets with Will-O-Wisp, or just Will-O-Wisp as a tech move. What tours are going on tomorrow? The Desafio Latam is the big tour. Desafio Latam is like, I guess I can just pull it up. Is my Twitter? I'm using Safari for this streaming because I don't want to leak all of my teams. And I normally use Firefox, and so I'm hoping that like everything is logged in and whatnot. So this Desafio Latam, it's a circuit. You pay like $8 to enter, and you have access to 10 tournaments. The first tournament just finished. That is what you saw the team report for. They usually get between 150 to 250 people per tournament, and after those 10 tournaments, you get to potentially play in a circuit finale, which is like I think 32 or 40 people. Last time it was 40, and the top 16 or top 8 got buys. I'm not exactly sure. I didn't play last time, but yeah. So this is happening. I think it's 11:30 a.m. Eastern time is when it starts. So -4 GMT. The information is all on the Twitter page. You have to join the Discord and whatnot. But it's a cool circuit. I like the format where you just like pay for entering once, and then you get to play a bunch of times. It not only encourages you to play in multiple tournaments, but like it's cost effective for players, and you don't feel like it's easier to convince someone to pay for for 10 tournaments than it is for one tournament, and you still have like decently substantial pricing for the grand finale, which I think is what drives a lot of other players. Like I'm not a huge fan of playing in free tournaments, so yeah, it's a cool dynamic. Is Pelipper still good? Yes, Pelipper is still good. As long as Entei is people's answer to Zacian, Pelipper will be good. As long as like people are relying on fire moves, like we saw in Mike's top 4 set. If you watch that, thank you for the follow, Sean. You saw in Mike's top 4 set that his opponent relied on Flamethrower or Eternatus. That was something that was really common in my run as well. So like beating Eternatus was awesome. It is a little restricting. So like we ran Pelipper Urshifu. I think I saw a team in the World Cup. Actually, yes, I know where I saw this. Let me see if I can pull it up. No, I won't be able to pull it up. But Sohai posted that Willie played someone else in World Cup in Canada versus I forget which team. And Willie was using the Pelipper team, and his opponent was using Pelipper but not Urshifu. I think it was like a Landorus, and managed to win that set. So like you don't necessarily need to have the Urshifu. It is a little restricting in that you don't need to bring both, but like one without the other is a lot less powerful, and you have to play a lot more defensively. But yeah, the other thing about Zacian is like you cannot afford to have like an auto loss to Groudon Entei. It just feels really bad. It's not like you can say you're not facing it. It's dropped in popularity partially because people have responded to it, and it was like very good into the meta. Like Groudon Entei is something I would say is not good into the meta right now because people have adapted to it, or at least until it gets adapted in some way. But I think Pelipper is still like a response to that has other utility, and therefore is still a pretty good choice. I don't want to check you see that like one there, and you're like, oh man, I really gotta, it's just one of those things. It's an impulse to click it, and I can't click it on stream. Thanks, Squeaks. I appreciate it. So yeah, I guess like starting to So okay. So the reason that I started streaming is because I want to play in the tournament tomorrow, and I have no idea what to use. So I'm gonna ask for the chat's advice. I've heard from other streamers that I shouldn't listen to my chat, but I trust you guys. What am I using tomorrow? What restricted am I using? Give me some ideas. I figure this is I have a data to play test, and so I might as well do that on stream. All right, we got Kali Shadow, Hail Calyrex team, Shedinja, Zacian. I think so. Why don't I try a Groudon team? Sorry, Jack. I don't think I'm going to run Zekrom. I still want to do well in the tournament. I don't think Zekrom is very good, especially with like all the player of Zacian that are floating around with the existence of Groudon. The Eternatus is a deterrent to it. Ho-Oh, I don't think it's very good. I think you're like very reliant on I think you're very reliant on like hitting your matchups with Ho-Oh. I don't think it's very good into everything, and I don't think it's possible to build it to be good into everything. Leftovers Kyogre Trick Room. Oh, funny story about that. I tried that. I was like, I ran into a Combine Kyogre on ladder. I think most people have at this point. I was like, yo, this is sick. This team is so cool. I was talking to Rajan about it. We tried to build it. We built it. We play tested it, and we just kept losing, and it felt awful. And I know that I think it's Manuel Barea, a Spanish player, was found a lot of success with it. He said he might put a team like paced out, so maybe I'll steal his team when it comes out and try that out. But for now, it's like I really struggled when I was building that. Yo, what's good, Mambi? Adrian did build it, yeah. I think I tried to steal the idea from Adrian. So we got a bunch of Groudon. I think Groudon is still like a good Pokemon. The like Groudon Cherrim Entei builds were very greedy. They were built to like abuse the fact that Entei was broken. And Entei is still very good. Groudon is still a good Pokemon. But you have to build it with like a little more optimization. So that's something that I would definitely strongly consider. Paul says use Zacian, Latias, Incineroar, Suicune, Rillaboom, Landorus. Yo, pass the paste. I'll try it out. Would I be interested in Scarf Moltres? I think that Scarf is tough to use when there's a lot of fake out. And you're not directly pressuring the Incineroar. Like locking into Fiery Wrath feels really bad right now. It is pretty good into the Calyrex matchup, but it would be like a tech choice for the Calyrex matchup. It wouldn't be Mon 1 on the team. It would be like Mon 6 on the team. I've seen a lot of Radiant Elky. I think I faced 2 Radiant Elky on Zacian teams when I was playing in the tournaments. It's like an alternative developer. In fact, one of my opponents was playing literally the exact same team, but with the Radiant Elky, and they went undefeated in Swiss. The difference was I lost to them because they had Paul and Puffamungus, which is something that I would consider running on the Pelipper team. Zapdos Politoed Zacian build is really fun to use. I'm down. I think Zapdos is also sick. Zapdos is like underappreciated. Feel free to DM me teams if you wanna if you have suggestions. Like I'll check it out. Both Mars and Paul. Zapdos is something that is really good. I think that when you are looking at like, let me find the results. It was the Victory Road, right? When you look at like teams that do well, there's like, I think in looking at teams that do well and interpreting it correctly is important. And by that I mean, it's very easy to look at the World Cup Open teams, which is a little outdated at this point. You know, it is over a month ago, but look at this and say, wow, Palkia did really well. Palkia got 2 spots in top 8. It did. But Palkia isn't actually that good. What put in work on those teams, in my opinion, was the fact that they had like correctly picked the teammates to like adapt to the metagame, and just like really beat that Fire, Water, Grass double fake out core that people were really trying to spam. And so Big G was one of the first people to use Entei. Inosh also did really well using Entei. I think Entei is the like star of that team. Also, Big G is like this bulky Landorus that was really cool. It just like really trying to beat the Zacian matchup, and Palkia is very good into Kyogre, which is also obviously very common. He started using a DD before most people did, which like I think it's the support options that really made Big G's team really strong. Same with like Lele's team who won the tournament. Palkia probably did more work on that team, but Zapdos is like such a good Pokemon, and it was such a good Pokemon a month and a half ago. It's probably a little worse now, but I still think it's very powerful. I just think that it doesn't have to be on the Zapdos team. And so running it on a Zacian team, where Zacian is just the best restricted in the format, and you can put it on like, if you're putting these broken support Pokemon on a team with good Pokemon, then you're making the good Pokemon better, right? Instead of having to use like this subpar restricted, in my opinion, the subpar restricted, and try to like put enough pieces around it to make it work. Zapdos Groudon is possible. I have nothing like. Yeah, I could see Zapdos Groudon working. Zapdos like is a deterrent to the grass types. You're doubling up on ice weaknesses. Zapdos doesn't necessarily add very much to it, right? You already have a good Zacian matchup, and Zapdos is really good into Zacian. It helps with Kyogre a little bit, but it doesn't really want to defensively switch into Kyogre, and that's something that Groudon teams really need on their team. So, I don't know. It could work. Yeah, hitting Hurricane and Sun also feels bad. Shadow Tag Goth is definitely something that I was thinking about earlier. I was thinking about like Shadow Tag Goth with Calyrex maybe. I've seen a lot of it on like Politoed Zacian, and I think that's a little greedy. I don't think you get to like pull off Perish as much as you want, and then you're running like subpar Mons to try to like, I don't know, trapping Incineroar isn't really a thing that you get to do very often, because they're pivoting more often than not. They're not really clicking Fake Out, and you're not forcing them to click Fake Out. Calyrex is maybe the one archetype where I could think of where like people are, you can just like, if you can trap something and take a KO with Calyrex, very often the game is over. And so that would be the goal, is just like say, you can bring all of your pivot mons and maybe you get away with it, but I just need to trap one thing and take a KO. So that's something that I was thinking about, that I might try to build. Just you can DM me on Twitter, DM me on Discord, probably Discord, so I don't have to open it up on stream regardless. I've got another window up. Yeah, so I guess one thing that I actually really want to play is Lunala. I haven't really tried a Lunala team yet, but I've struggled against them on ladder when I've played against them. They seem really sick. It's a really cool archetype, and yeah, and I just haven't found it. Like, there haven't been many public Lunala teams. There was the Resu team that was like Sylveon stuff. Let me pull it up. I'm sure I can find that tweet. Yeah, I want to like talk about the teams that or show off the teams that I'm talking about. So there was this team that was, no, this isn't it. This is a different team. I just searched Resu in a Discord server and pulled it up. Here we go. This is the one. So you got this team that was like I think the original Lunala team that did well. And I think it's a little outdated. I don't think that you necessarily run these Pokemon on it. Amoonguss was very common, and then people started running like Goggles more. But that was, and let's see. I think someone posted like Shoma ran a Lunala team in World Cup, and so that was an option. All right, Saya, do you mind if I open this up on stream? Oh yeah, Lele had a Lunala team. Okay, cool. All right, I have not looked at this yet, but we're gonna see what it says. Okay, it's a close team sheet. What does this do better than other Calyrex teams? I guess like if you're running bulky Fire, Water, Grass, you don't necessarily need Whimsicott. It doesn't really play to its strengths. I like Nihilego on it. I'm just like, this looks a lot like the Yuki's team. Yeah, I'm playing in Desafio tomorrow. So for those who just joined, Desafio Latam is the tournament that's happening tomorrow. I mean, it's happening like every weekend, but I happen to be pretty free tomorrow, and so I want to play. And so, but I don't have a team, and so I'm either running the Pelipper team back, or I'm playing with something else, and I figure I've got some time right now. I've got energy right now, and I want to start streaming, so I should let chat come up with teams. Citrus Ditto with Tailwind is really good. That I agree with. That was like Inosha's thing. Yeah. I think that if I was running Calyrex, I'd still be running Entei, though. I just think Entei is so good on that team. I feel like the problem with Calyrex Instant Rillaboom right now is that everything is built to beat Instant Rillaboom. And so, yes, Instant Rillaboom is really powerful, but when you have the ability to run like these very powerful, when you get the ability to run a hyper offensive team and like tempo these like things like Zapdos that are trying to beat Instant Rillaboom, you just do that. You don't necessarily run these like defensive pivots. Like obviously Yuki found a lot of success with this. Other people have kind of emulated her team, but I don't know. Like I feel like if I'm running Calyrex, I'm going full, just full hyper offense. Let's see. I also wanted to see Lele's Lunala team because I think that there it is. What did you say it did? 1850 on PS. 1 amount silver, top 8 Rose Tower challenge. Okay. Oh yeah. Actually, I played him in that Rose Tower challenge, and I had no Lunala matchup with the team that I was using. I forget what team it was. Oh, it was Jackson's Calyrex team. I just had no Lunala matchup. It was awful. I also probably threw game 2 in that set, but it was very, very difficult. I had to make a lot of reads just to stay in the game. This is the idea of the team that I was thinking about. Or rather, this has the components of the team that I wanted to use with Lunala, with Amoonguss, with Stakataka. Those are like the core that I thought is very powerful. Mental or Mimikyu to guarantee you get Trick Room up is valuable because Goggles and Incineroar is more common than ever. The Desafio tournament is open team sheet. Don't know why he's running Curse Mimikyu. You don't get to target for Curse anymore, which is very silly and makes it a lot worse. I think I would probably not run Curse. I think that you can probably find something better. Like, is Shadow Sneak just not better, Maybe it was for no, you already beat Shedinja to some extent. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Taunt is also very good. Will-O-Wisp. Yeah, you just have so many options. Woodhammer I definitely get. Woodhammer just kind of helps the Kyogre matchup. The other thing that I was trying to figure out, it took me a little while, was why are we running Lunala? Why aren't we running Dawnwings? Because Dawnwings still lives a Throat Chop from Incineroar. It is bulkier. It's higher special attack. You're running Trick. This looks like a pretty hard Trick Room team. It doesn't need to have Trick Room up. It has a Landorus, right? But you're running. You are putting Trick Room up in most games, and Dawnwings is slower. But if you want to outspeed Incineroar, it still naturally outspeeds Incineroar without any speed investment. And it gets the same move pool, except it also gets Earth Power. It doesn't get Wide Guard is the big one. And I think that the reason that I ended up concluding was you are a lot worse into Calyrex Shadow, and Lunala's strength was that it was really good into Calyrex Shadow. But if you are doing if you have a consistent way to get Trick Room up anyways, then you probably can beat Calyrex teams, especially if you can get Trick Room up a second time, which is why these Lunala teams were so difficult. It was just very easy for them to get Trick Room up twice against Calyrex Shadow, and the second time is just backbreaking. Yeah, exactly. Lunala is only good into Calyrex Shadow turn 1. That's all it needs to be, though, right? If being good into Calyrex Shadow turn 1 means you can set up Trick Room, then you've probably won the game. Is Wide Guard okay for open team sheets? I don't think the tournament that Lele were playing in was open team sheet. The Rose Tower Clash was not open team sheet. I don't remember if it was Rose Tower Clash or Challenge that he played in. It's Challenge, so actually this might have been open team sheet. I forget. Yeah, maybe this does not live the Astral Barrage consistently. You can EV it to live the Astral Barrage consistently. I don't know if it's worth it. And Dawnwing certainly doesn't. Yeah, Desafio. So Desafio is open team sheet. So people will see Wide Guard. and I don't think Wide Guard's anywhere near as good when people see it coming. So that's one thing to consider at the very least. Yeah. It forces out counterplay, but like it forces out mind games at best, I think. I think that like I don't know. I haven't played with this team before, so it's hard for me to say. Where like I can totally see this team being weak to Kyogre. I know it has Woodhammer, Mimikyu, and Amoonguss, but like a lot of the Pokemon don't do very much. So maybe you need Wide Guard for the Kyogre matchup specifically. Into Calyrex Shadow, I don't think it's necessary. You just set up Trick Room consistently enough without it. Right, you have the Mimikyu, and Mimikyu always sets it up against those teams. So EVing for Astral Barrage takes away from like KO Mimikyu. Can you stream XDL team building instead? Dude, I've already got my team. I'm like pretty locked in already, so yeah, I'm excited though. It should be fun. And I'd be surprised if you don't already have your team, Jamie. So in open team sheets, is Wide Guard Lunala worth it over Dawnwings? That is what I am trying to find out. That is what I want to know. Maybe I'm just like totally off base with this like theory. I have not played with the team, so it's hard for me to say. That's the thing. Like if that's kind of why I was thinking about just like jamming games with Lunala and seeing if I would ever want a Dawnwings or jamming games with like just subbing in Dawnwings. Dawnwings has like a cool move pool too. It has like Earth Power, so if you want to like hit Incineroar a little more consistently, you could run that potentially. It has a higher special attack stat, which is good. Back in 2019 in like Moon Series, I want to say, one of the Canadian locals, Sebi, ran a really cool Dawnwings team with Fake Tears, Clefairy, and it was like a hard Trick Room team. And Fake Tears into Earth Power just always killed Incineroar, and that was sick. It was kind of gimmicky in that I remember I played it and I got bodied, and then the next time I played it, I won really easily in a different tournament. So it kind of felt like it only worked once, but in an open team sheet, that's a lot harder to pull off. But that was a really cool concept. I don't think that you live Astral Barrage if you have Friend Guard up. We can calc that. Do I have a calc up here? I don't think you just like ever get to do this though. Yeah, no, you definitely die. That was like Lunala can do it, right? Lunala can be put next to Clefairy and live these attacks very easily. But so maybe that's another thing. What do the EVs on Lunala do? I am not sure. This is not my team. So Clefairy got less play because it's really bad into Amoonguss, and it's really bad when like there's a lot of fake out, right? It's not doing anything proactively, and you're not Dynamaxing next to it. So if your opponent is cycling Incineroar Rillaboom and faking out the thing next to Clefairy, Clefairy's not doing anything. Even if it's clicking Sing, like that's good. It's not very active though. Your opponent can like stall those out because games are going longer. Dynamax really made Clefairy a lot better, but you know it could still be like it could still be a Pokemon. Friend Guard is really good. That's the main thing. I was thinking about Clefairy on Calyrex Shadow, just because it's Clefairy on Calyrex Shadow allows you to live attacks that you otherwise wouldn't live. So you can live Azation Behemoth Blade very consistently. Excuse me. You can live Azation Behemoth Blade is the big one. You can live like weaker Incineroar attacks. Maybe like I don't know if you can live a real. Actually, we can find out if you can live a Rillaboom knockoff. And then just like again, this is all about like knowing you do not live a Rillaboom knockoff. Okay, never mind. Even if it's 156, yeah. I think you live the Incineroar attack. You do not. Okay, never mind. Wow. Okay, this sucks. Obviously you can redirect those attacks, but Clefairy is also more powerful when you can like protect and force your opponent to target the slot. Uh, yeah, I mean Encore Clefairy is definitely still a set. You're making reads then. If they just click Parting Shot, it's a lot worse. All right, sorry, I'm gotta trying to keep up with chat. I'm getting there. Sorry, first time streamer. The problem with Dawn Wings is that your Calyrex matchup is really garbage. Yep, that's probably true. How do you think why Entei is so OP now? Entei is really good because of Inner Focus. Exactly, yeah. Inner Focus is crazy. Hitting Rillaboom is really good. But just like... Inner Focus is like... Game Freak was like, Incineroar is too good a Pokemon. It's everywhere. It's on every team. How do we stop it, right? It does Fake Out plus Intimidate, and that's really what it had in Gen 7. And they're like, okay, well, we already have this ability that is immune to Fake Out. What if we also make it immune to Intimidate and just like make it perfect for against Incineroar? Then they give Incineroar Parting Shot just for no reason at all. Like, does not need that. Holy crap. Inner Focus is like, well, Inner Focus is another one of those abilities that is like balanced around Dynamax. It's when your opponent couldn't really fake you out anyways, it wasn't that great. It was still very good to be immune to Intimidate, but it wasn't over the top. And now, it's not that it's overpowered, it's that it's required to be that good because it's the only piece of counterplay to, or one of the very few pieces of counterplay to this Incineroar Rillaboom metagame that exists, right? Yeah, it's just like Pokemon is cool partially because it is really hard to break the game. We have Series 8 might have been like the first tier 0 metagame where you just like have this really, really dominant team or our team archetype since VGC 15. Like even VGC 16 was remarkably diverse. And VGC 15 was like, okay, everyone is team building to beat this one specific team or using that one specific team. And Series 8 was like that. But other than that, Pokemon is really hard to like break in that way. It's just, there's so many tools that you have at your disposal with these 800 Pokemon or how many of our Pokemon are available right now that, you know, even when you have this like really, really powerful Incineroar Rillaboom core, people are still very good at finding these consistent counterplay. What did I miss? Yeah, Series 8's one team was basically like all of the Gmax Venusaur stuff. There were sort of two teams. There was the let me pull up Players Club 3. So come on. So Players Cup 3, you had John's team, which was Venusaur, Torkoal, Incineroar, and then you put a Kyogre on it to really make Weather Ball good. You had the Groudon stuff, either be it like the version that me and Colin and Raghav popularized, which is this version, or you have the European version, which is the Umbreon version. But it's not the exact same team, but like they're all just Gmax Venusaur spam. Gmax Venusaur was just broken. And then you also had the Zacian versions that maybe didn't do too well in Players Cup. Yeah, I guess I'm just not seeing them. But there was the hot dog team that was everywhere during the IC that was happening. It was very common. I think the Victory Road circuit was won by that. And so this was just like, this was the team. And then you could maybe run Colossal and you could maybe run Calyrex, but like you were basically just kind of forced to run Venusaur and then either Torkoal or Groudon and then things that enabled Venusaur. So yeah, that was like that was the given more time to develop, and maybe we found more counterplay. But like it felt like even VGC 15, people talk about chalk. It wasn't just chalk, right? You had other teams. All those other teams were very heavily teched out specifically to beat chalk. And this is what it felt like. You were either running Venusaur good stuffs, or you were running stuff that is very heavily teched to beat Venusaur stuff. And honestly, even your Venusaur teams were very heavily teched to beat other Venusaur teams. And I'm glad that this series ended when it did, because it was not going to be it was going to be very, very bad if it had to continue. Groudon teams do not need gravity. Groudon teams just click P-Blades and don't miss. People keep talking about gravity, and I've seen a lot of people talk about gravity. It's just like, if you're running Groudon, play to your strengths, just don't miss. If Jamie is still here, he might disagree with me, because I know how much he loves his gravity teams. He ran a really cool gravity Groudon team in NAIC in 2019, and then you got like top 64. Yeah, I mean, even Agati's team, right? He had a Charizard on it, and Charizard does similar things to Venusaur, but really it's good because it does well into those Venusaur teams. Except not when they have a Kyogre on them, so. Yeah, again, like the last time, there have been formats where individual Pokemon are very centralizing. The fact that Venusaur needed to be enabled by a Sunsetter meant that, like, and also the fact that Incineroar was so good meant that it was like you just kind of, it wasn't the same team, but it was like the same like 3 teams basically. The best counterplay against Groudon missing with Groudon is being good, because good players don't miss. That is correct. And I mean, this is the trade-off, especially with restricted formats, is that the power level is higher, right? You have these really powerful Pokemon, and so in order to take, like, everything is running more bulk because it needs to live attacks not from Regieleki and Celesteela. It needs to live attacks from Calyrex, Shadow, and Kyogre, right? And so everything is bulkier. And if you want to do the amount of damage you need to do to pick up KOs, you sometimes need to rely on inaccurate moves. And it sucks. And that's just the way it is, right? And that's why, like, we were running Hydro Pump Pelipper, and that definitely lost me games at times. But, like, you have to run it, because otherwise you're not going to KO the Incineroars that are really bulky, because Xerneas is really powerful. And that's just the way it goes, Pre-Worlds 2018, Kyle's Gengar team was super dominant. I remember that. That team was... It was very good. But I liked that... So the story about that team is that I didn't qualify for Worlds, but I was going to Worlds anyways. And so I was playing in the Open, and that was the first time that I, like, got top 10 on the ladder. Was just using that standard Gengar team. Which was like, I'm sure that there's a rental code somewhere. Where did I find it? VGC 2018 sample teams. Is that going to get me there? I don't know. Maybe. There's so the Gengar. Actually, I can just pull it up. I have a version of it. I can pull up the version that I used in the, what's it called? The Open. But here we go. So this isn't exactly it, but this is very similar. And it was very good. It was innovated. There were different variants of it. This is not the definitive variant, but this is the first time I got like top 10 or top 15 on the ladder, and I was like, this team is sick. I can't believe I didn't qualify for Worlds, because I would have killed it. This was me coming off like my first regional cup, and so I was like really confident in myself, even though I hadn't had a great season up until that point. And then I I went like 4-4 in the open, and no one who used this team did well. And of course, the people who did well were the people who innovated this team. And so, like Emilio Forbes ran Perish Trap on Gengar, and it was much better. But this team was so much fun to use because it was just like really, really bulky stuff. Gengar trapping stuff is just so powerful. And you get to set up, a substitute with Kartana, or you get to set up a Dragon Dance with Tyranitar, or and do really well. What am I going to play tomorrow? That's a great question. Let's see. I think that if I had to build a team for tomorrow, it would be Lunala. I think that Layla's Lunala team is probably the team. So let's pull that back up. Use Kyogre. It's actually broken. I agree. Kyogre is one of the top 3 restricteds. But no, not this Lele. The other Lele. Kyogre is very good. I'm not gonna deny that. Kyogre was like overrepresented in the last tournament. I can pull up the top cut of the last Desafio. Not the full top cut, just like top 8. Yeah, so here's the top 8, right? There was a lot of Kyogre. You can see 3 of them here, and Mike played a lot of Kyogre. Mike knocked out a lot of Kyogre. Obviously Zacian is very good. A couple Xerneas, no Calyrex Shadow, right? So that makes me a little hesitant to run Lunala when I think of Lunala, and I think that the reason to run it is because it has a very, very positive Calyrex Shadow matchup. Tornogre Serena has 0 counterplay if the pilot is good. I disagree. I think that Tornogre Serena against teams that are prepared for it leads to very volatile game states. You have a lot of options. You can make reads and win the game, and your opponent can make reads and win the game. And if your opponent is ill prepared for it, you will destroy them. Obviously, it's just very, very powerful. But a lot of times it isn't being good. It isn't. You just don't have the ability to make safe plays in the way that you would with Zacian. You have to like make the correct calls. It is one-dimensional, yes, but it's very powerful. It does enough, and if you call your turns correctly, usually you have to call like 1 turn correctly, and then you've won the game. But it's hard. It's really hard. I think Mike talked about it in his team report. Like, even though we figured out the matchup, we practiced it a lot, all the games were still really intense, and it was very losable. And in our practice, I think I was winning more than I was losing with Seed's team, which we were testing out. And at the end of the day, like, you know, us having played 30 or probably closer to 15 games with that team meant that Mike was more prepared. But if Seed had prepared 15 games as well, I think that it would have been very, very scary. The Mimi version is cool, but I'm going to miss Origin. This looks like it takes an L from any good Amoonguss team. You have the Stakataka, right? That's the counterplay. And you don't have to set up Trick Room, is the other thing. If I run Taunt on Mimikyu, it might be a little better. That is the thing. Like, Lele did well with this team a little while ago, so it's probably a little outdated. But it's a good starting point, if nothing else. Let's queue it up. Let's I have not played games. All right. 1 second. I gotta make sure that I'm not revealing any alts, except for the one that I want to reveal. All right. I have an alt on the mid ladder. It's probably like 1450-ish. Yeah, wow, exactly 1450. Okay. For your sake, I will turn off shinies. Shiny Amoonguss is fine. You. expose him so we can see Team U next week in PGL. I mean, oh yeah, playoffs, right? I gotta start prepping for that. Maybe I can't stream. All right, so chat, you're gonna have to coach me through how to learn this team because I don't know anything about what I'm doing here. And by that I mean we're learning together. Stack can't really touch a Moongus, and nothing can touch it for more than 60%. Oh yeah, Curse is silly. We're gonna run taunts. We're going to run taunts for now, because we seem to think we have an Amoonguss problem. I've seen Lunala builds with like, Torkoal like this. The person who built this team was Lele is what he goes by. It's Lele Brigante. Or not Brigante. Briganti? I don't know. You'll pronunciation is not my strong suit. Let's see. Okay, we actually got to play this game. So, Indeedee is probably annoying. Double normal is going to be a pain in the butt. I still need to bring Lunala. Wide Guard's going to be really good into Torkoal. This team needs Trick Room a lot more than me. I have an Akaberry too, so I should live and attack from Torkoal. Stakataka is bad if he like gets a couple boosts with Lurantis, but otherwise it should be fine. I don't think I can deny Trick Room, so I probably want to just like deny the switch-ins to Trick Room abusers, right? Do you think he has a ghost move anywhere? They have a ghost move anywhere. I can also like reverse Trick Room. I think I want like Stack Attack to start going in. If they lead Indeedee or Rangaroo, then I just start clicking U-turn Rock Slide, right? I think that's probably what I get to do and just like chip things down. I bring Lunala, and then I probably want a Moongus given these. This seems reasonable. Don't lead Lurantis. Stack Attack, sure. I kind of want to click Body Press right here. They're not clicking Expanding Force, right? And so if Indeedee is not clicking Expanding Force, it doesn't get to click. It has to click Follow Me, so I might as well click Rock Slide. Night Slash, Lurantis, and Shadow Ball Indeedee. So, yeah, that's probably true. I guess Lurantis probably runs Night Slash. I actually really don't want to take this KO on Indeedee. I really want one more turn to... Okay, so Body Press was the... Ooh, that's rough. That is rough. Yikes. Okay. I can't deny Trick Room anymore. I can... Okay, so we're going Lunala, and we're just gonna have to like Spore through this, is what's happening. Yeah, I mean, I should have gone for my own Body Press. That would have gotten me there. We're just gonna Meteor Beam. I'm gonna double the slot. This is so bad if you they get Trick Room up right away, but what can I do about it, you know? I just get my boost and then say, I can always reverse Trick Room. Eject button. Interesting. The issue with Lunala is that all the counterplay Calyrex is brought against it. I don't think that's the problem. If that's weakness policy. Oh my goodness. This is fine. I get to support. I get to Moongas Beam it, and I Spore the Stack Attack, which is switching into the Indeedees to protect it. Or that's happening. That's fine though. That worked out. I don't have a way to hit Lunala anymore. I know it has Protect. So we're clicking Moongeist Beam. I guess we're just clicking Moongeist Beam. Let's go. This has felt less than ideal already. Oh, if that KO'd, it tells you something about Stack, because... Do I have 17 defense? No, I don't. Sure. Okay. I still cannot hit this Indeedee, is the other problem. I can KO it, but I'm stuck clicking Moongeist Beam. This sucks. Do I have to no, I don't have to call the reverse Trick Room. I don't have to do that. What are they doing? This is the 1400s. This is gonna. That's like. I didn't even notice the Sash Sakataka. I didn't even notice it. What the heck? No, so I can't raw Meteor Beam because I need to be able to threaten the Calyrex Ice when it comes back in. All right, so we have Ogre Berry. We just get to Spore and we get to, yeah, this is free. Okay, we won the game. Oh, I also hate no Protect Amoonguss, and to the point where like I have to change that for no reason other than like when I was playing in an open team sheet format, I was absolutely winning games because my opponent didn't have Protect. It's just so easy to target it down. It's not. Can I? Like, okay, so Pollen Puff is cool because it lets you get your Shadow Shield back, right? And that's the reason to use Lunala. And the Grass Knot is important because this team does feel weak to Kyogre. Yeah, we do love Yu-Gi-Oh. I'm glad that you. I'm glad you understand the reference. This guy's wild, George. This is not This is 1400s. I am not revealing my highlighter alt, so I'm using the other alt that I have let tank. And so we are working our way up. Is what's happening. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. We need damage on waters, and so, but just like not having Protect feels so bad. And it's open team sheets, so it's not like okay, not having Protect feels so bad in open team sheet because they just get to target down the Amoonguss, and it's really punishing. You don't have that. That was my experience playing against Amoonguss. My Amoonguss had Protect, and when I faced one that had Protect, I had to like think a lot harder. Okay. Triple Fire because nothing is sacred anymore. I think this is Pado's Xerneas team. There's a couple like, or not necessarily the exact team. That team is quite old as well, but some variant of it. Okay, so Akka Amoonguss is probably convenient, but I also don't necessarily think I need Amoonguss here. Pado had Rilla, Nantaro had Venu. Okay, so the concept of Torkoal, Entei, Xerneas is not new. It's pretty common. Incineroar isn't that surprising on it. This is, I mean, like I don't like having no attack move. No move that hits like normal types. No move that hits Incineroar after I get the Meteor Beam off. It's very awkward. Pado also put a Venusaur. Okay, so we're going to lead Incineroar again. I just like Indeedee is so punishing when you, or it's so easy to punish Indeedee when you just get to like leave it at 1 HP and then KO it when you want to. How am I trying to win this game? Landorus is obviously pretty good into Triple Fire, right? It has subs. It does have such bomb. Okay, so I can set up a sub potentially. Like threatening everything, clicking sub is pretty good. I want Lunala, obviously. And then I imagine Stakataka is probably showing up just as a way to hit Xerneas. It's not great into Landorus, but I have half a piece of Landorus counterplay. Or I get to do Amoonguss stuff. But Amoonguss feels really bad in Triple Fire, so we're going to go stack and see what happens. Okay, sure. So my Incineroar is faster. How do I play this? I can fake out the Xerneas Earth Power, but I get faked out. I can try to call it with I can't Parting Shot. I can hard switch. Hard switch Earth Power into Earth Power Trick Room, loses to just like raw attacking, right? Or just parting shot. No, I don't have parting shot. I have U-turn, correct. And then I'm gonna go into the Stakataka here and just say that. So there's the fake out. Yep. Geomancy. That's fair. That was a safe Geomancy, but I still have a Stakataka, so I think I'm okay. And now I get to click Trick Room and Earth Power, and if I lose the like the punish is Moonblast into Parting Shot, but like Moonblast is taunt. I can also protect and sack, or protect and switch to instant, which should live this attack because it's Assault Vest, and then fake out Trick Room. And if I guarantee Trick Room up, then I should be able to, but I don't want to let the Incineroar come out. That's the problem. So I want to Trick Room and Earth Power. Okay, we're getting punished for that. We are not getting punished for that. Very cool. We're not going to Gyro Ball Xerneas because the Indeedee is going to come in. Is that right? I will not watch out for Iron Ball Torkoal. I appreciate the suggestion, but I refuse to believe that's a real set. Let's see what can happen here. The Xerneas wants to protect, the Incineroar wants, like, I'm Meteor Beaming the Incineroar slot because I have to, right? Oh wait, I don't underspeed. Oh no, that's not great. I should have switched to Incineroar. I mean, I don't die, which is fine. Do I get to target the Incineroar? Or do I just like, am I just inting by doing that? I think Rock Slide is probably the safe play here. Just like, yeah, okay. Flinch odds are really good. That did way more than I thought it would. Parting Shot, sure. I was probably supposed to Gyro. I didn't want to Gyro in case of like... Yeah, no. I was supposed to Gyro last turn. Because then I either take the KO, but if I... Oh, this isn't actually that good. I didn't actually want to take that one. If I had Gyro'd, then... What happens? Then, if I take the KO, my opponent switches back into Incineroar. Or switches into Indeedee. And then I don't have Trick Room up, and I'm not pressuring the Xerneas, and that's not great. Here I have to switch out, because otherwise I'm just taking too much. And I'm going to Moongeist Beam the Incineroar, I suppose. And I think this probably KOs it. He can like Parting Shot, I guess. I don't actually... Like, the thing is, the Xerneas isn't really the threat here, just because I can KO it in the end game. Glad that KO'd. I still have my Shadow Shield up. Dazzle is annoying, but it's fine. I hate that I have no way to hit this thing. Holy crap. Okay. If I just Flare Blitz, am I okay? I don't need to hit it, but I need to hit the Indeedee. I don't have great ways to do that, which is frustrating. How much damage do I take from a Moonblast on stack? If I switch into Stakataka and Flare Blitz, is that good? Or Throat Chop? It's Throat Chop. Sure, we'll do this. Yeah, I knew that was coming too. I just didn't have a punish to it. Yeah, now we lose. It's just like Lunala does so little here. Double Trick Room doesn't get me there because they just have to attack. They just have to follow me attack, right? We can hope for the throw, I suppose. Hope for a throw, hope for a flinch. Yep, no such luck. Okay. I probably played the turn. I don't know. Like, if I didn't Trick Room and they just brought in Ndidi and click protect and it didn't protect, right? So it would have paid off. Yeah, I don't know. That's tough. Trading Fake Outs turn 1 probably was the play. But like trading Fake Outs turn 1 doesn't get me anywhere. I need to like doesn't I could have like throw chop sludge bomb and then they didn't have great punishes to that. I had to play a more positional game. Yeah, I got a little greedy turn 1. I thought that like stack attack meant that I can ignore Xerneas a little too much. All right, so like no psychic move on it in Lunala has been very frustrating. Yeah, Darkrai, if you want to like just talk about it in chat, happy to. I'll consider it. This is the team that Lele used, and I know he's a good builder and like has done very well with it. So this is like the default version that I'm going to stick to. But I'm not opposed to making changes by any means. Let's see, what can we do here? This is Fire, Water, Grass, but the Rillaboom is the only fake out user, so that's somewhat reassuring. There's no the Urshifu could be a Dark Urshifu. In fact, it looks like it probably is. Their Calyrex answer is their Entei, right? It's either Scarf or it's a Assault Vest. Lele brought this to the Rose Tower Challenge and Mount Silver, and also has spammed the ladder with it. Suicune runs over my team if it is Goggles. That might be true. That very reasonably could be true. Yep. Yeah, that sounds accurate. Okay, so Mimikyu might have to do a lot then. I can't sub on there because it has. This is difficult. This is annoying. The turn disc could be like 8 different sets. We're gonna lead Lunala, I think, just because it puts immediate pressure out. Landers for Eternatus, and then if it's, I probably want the Amoonguss. I think Amoonguss could be really useful. Yeah, let's do that. Lunala, Araquanid, Incin, Rilla, Stakataka. Araquanid is very good. I agree. Again, Resu's team was the original that I saw, the original Lunala team, and this is dark. That was very scary. But I think it's a little outdated because of the Sylveon. I think that Araquanid probably is still a very solid choice on these teams. I don't know what I drop on this team though, because I wanted the Lunala, Amoonguss, Mimikyu. I mean, maybe it's the Landorus, and then you're like hedging really hard into Trick Room. But if I'm hedging harder into Trick Room, then I probably want to run Dawn Wings. Is my thought. Is there a delay between the two? Maybe I have a delay. Oh shit! I gotta pick my moves. Shit! I took too long. Oh no, that's awful. That was the worst combination of moves. All right, we'll get there. We won't get there. We're losing this game for sure. We're gonna Wood Hammer and we're gonna Spore. Okay. Protect. We're gonna Wood Hammer and we're gonna Spore. I was supposed to switch out. I was not supposed to lose Lunala that easily. Damn, that did not 250. I think Dark Shifu might be tough for this team too, but also like I'm not supposed to lose my Pokemon turn 1. Yeah, okay, we're just gonna throw this game away. This was not winnable after turn 1. Dark Shifu is a little more manageable if I like click Trick Room and get to play the game. Again, like clicking Trick Room, switching into Mungus was the play that I would have gone for if I had been paying attention. That's my fault. I'm still getting used to streaming. Need to pay more attention to the game and also chat, and that's not necessarily something that comes naturally to me. Let's see, what can we do here? So Lunala seems sick here. Suicune's still a problem. Suicune Snarl is still a problem. And Mimikyu did not do nearly enough to it. So maybe this might be the team that Paul was talking about actually a little while ago. That's why Resu had Sylveon. Sure, that makes sense. Just to deal with Dark Shifu. I think if you're running Lunala, you just are allowed to say I'm losing to Yveltal. Dark Shifu less so. Play Rough obviously solves that, right? We're running Taunt and we didn't necessarily need Taunt. If we ran Play Rough, then that's like a better solution to it. So let's see, what are we running here? I need to focus more on the game too, man. This is tough. This streaming thing is difficult. I don't know how people do it and like play games. I just want to talk. All right, let's do these two. Now we want to run Amoonguss. We want to see if we can Spore. Still with the Incineroar, and then Stack seems bad. Stack seems bad. Landorus seems okay, but like not great. Probably Mimikyu. Mimikyu's bad once it gets chipped because it just like kind of goes down. Let's go Lando. So these were the mobs that I was kind of scared of. And no Protect, just so punishing. Like, I could have just Protect, switched to Incineroar, then fake out Spore and been in a great spot. And now I'm going to get taunted. I'm going to be annoyed. Or even better, Goggles. Okay, that's fine though. This is actually like the better of the two scenarios. Oh, this is why we have Throat Chop. I see. See, we're learning. We're getting there. The Rillaboom switches out, right? I can Spore the Rillaboom. See, this is easy. Maybe it was supposed to bring Mimikyu specifically to deal with Suicune. Oh, I have a Grass Knot too. I probably want to like reset this. I don't think I mind taking a Scald here. I'm a Self Vest, so like I'm handling the chip pretty well. To go back into Amoonguss. Oh god, Throat Chop is so bad. It lasts for like one turn. I have to Wide Guard. I have to Wide Guard Grass Knot. Wide Guard Grass Knot into like Moongeist Beam might pick it up, or Meteor Beam. The Meteor Beam has to be saved for the Incineroar. So if one had AV and the other one had Citrus, and this is just neither of them. Okay, that looks like Moongeist Beam range, right? Probably. Fake Out is going into Amoonguss, probably. So this is a switch. This is gonna be Moongeist Beam range. That's fair. It's knockoff too. Why? This team is so hard to pilot. You have Trick Room but no Trick Room Sweeper. I don't know if Stack is considered a sweeper. That is reasonable. That is a reasonable criticism. The cool thing about Lunala teams was that it's not necessarily built to like. They weren't necessarily built to set up Trick Room and sweep. They felt like they were built to like set up Trick Room multiple times when you need to. Okay, so this is the good. This is a lander switch in. We saw Throat Chop, which is fine. Do we think Sludge Bomb gets it from here? We saw Scald, we saw Snarl. There's probably Tailwind. Is there Protect? Or does it have to be a Rillaboom switch? I can also Earth Power the Incineroar, which is free, and then Grass Knot, and hopefully that picks it up. Or at least it gives me a KO, right? Because it picks it up if the Rillaboom comes in, and otherwise I take the KO on the Incineroar. That seems like, yeah, I'm happy with that play. Can't play teams like this. The damage sources need way too specific conditions in order to function. Welcome to Series 10. You just have to be ready to put damage out exactly what you, like. That's just kind of how every team plays right now. Get the damage that you need. Like you just have to kind of learn when to. Oh, that's rough. Okay. So we're gonna Earth Power the Suicune because we need to KO the Suicune. I think we should live in a Behemoth Blade. And then we're gonna Parting Shot. We don't have Parting Shot. Oh! You know, we're only alive because we're AV, but okay. I can Flare Blitz. Can't. I want to get Trick Room up now, right? That's the goal. I'm losing a mod, so this doesn't really matter that much. Yeah, that switch was like, oh, okay, that's fine. I can Protect. Zacian doesn't do anything then. That's part of the reason Zamazenta is so hard to use. You know, there's some other reasons why Zamazenta is really hard to use. Let's see. Player off to 25, so Behemoth Blade's doing about 50, I think. A little more than 50. So, but it should live it, and they would have to double, or this U-turn off of it. They probably U-turn off of it. Come to think of it. I don't Protect. I can't like reposition. So I can Earth Power and Sakamon. I can Sludge Bomb the Rillaboom, but that's not going to KO it. But I'm not KOing it anyways. So I think we're going to do that. I should live the Behemoth Blade. It's going to do absolutely nothing once the... Oh yeah, we're also dying to that, right? Oh boy. Thank you for the follow, Roth. I'm just never killing this Zacian. That's the existing problem right here. And it has knockoff, so it doesn't matter. Yeah. Yeah, Lunala is... This team is very difficult. Like... I don't know. This is hard. I need a team a little more brain dead than this. We might have just been running into bad matchups, but like... We're in the 1400s. We should be winning these anyways. This team just does not have margins. Use the better Ghost Caloric Shadow. I really should. I really should. So, thanks, Storm. I can't just say the threat of Wide Guard is going to be enough because the tournament tomorrow is open team sheets. Well, so Abai, like, yeah, this is a rough point of laddering, but I don't know. This is why the Pelipper team felt so good. Is I picked it up and just like immediately shot up in points. Like I was not losing until I hit 1800. It was insane, and that's why it. I mean, it won the tournament, right? It did really well. Um, Ladder is not the best way to evaluate a team, but it is when things like that happen, and it's happened to me multiple times. Um, you want to use teams like that. At least I want to use teams like that they just like shoot up. I might also just be bringing the wrong Pokemon, right? Like this is not intuitive which four Pokemon I'm supposed to bring. Um, like that's a reasonable response. Like Mimikyu might have been sick there. At least wouldn't have done anything. It wouldn't have done anything to the Zacian. Um, I let it get a sub up and then I immediately lost because I don't have parting shot. And I don't have like anything to hit it. Maybe I have to like more aggressively set up Trick Room, but then okay. So there's an Amoonguss. Amoonguss is annoying. I want the Incineroar. I want the Stakataka. I need the Amoonguss, and I don't want Mimikyu. And I don't think Landorus is very good here, so I think I just make these four. With that in mind, we're going to try to set up Trick Room, I think, and then maybe win from there. Probably not with Stakataka. Maybe no, probably with Stakataka. I don't want to just immediately. Okay, so I'm faster. This is again where I don't want to click. I don't want to do anything. I just want to click. I just want to click Trick Room and Parting Shot, and I don't have Parting Shot. It's very annoying. We'll just do this. The tour tomorrow is the Desafio Latam tournaments. There's one pretty much every weekend, but I played in the last one. That's the tournament that that Mike won, that had a team report on the channel. I got top 32 in the first one, so yeah. Yeah, okay, Arsenal, you don't have to brag. I know you're popping off on ladder. Let's see. We have to go stack. We have to click follow me, Trick Room. They're gonna KO Amoonguss. Can I protect? I don't have protect on any of my Pokemon. Oh my god. How does this team work? How do you play without a protect on a single Pokemon? Can I not follow me? I probably live a Behemoth Blade. Sure, let's do that. Yeah, Arsenal, if you want to share your team and you don't mind like stream seeing it. If you want to share your team and you don't want stream seeing it, that's also fine. Just let me know and I will use it later, I guess, or I'll think about it. See, again, even here, like, okay, I was forced to set up Trick Room. Now my Lunala loses to the Incineroar, which is also very frustrating to me. I can double up on the Zacian potentially here. If I bring in Lunala, the Incineroar will click Parting Shot on me, and I will be upset. That's just what's happening here. I'm pretending like the Zacian is protecting, because it is. They're going to Parting Shot into their Amoonguss to try to protect it, and then I'm going to have to Moonguss Beam the Amoonguss, switch into Incineroar, and like Gyro Ball, maybe? That doesn't get there. But I want the damage. Meteor Beam resets it too. That's then I don't protect. I can't stop it. I can't. Okay, let's do this. That didn't actually. Oh, okay. That's like a little more reasonable. Instant Lunala does quite well. Yeah, I don't know how you play without protects. I just can't do it. Like, I think I have to body press weaken here. If it has no, I have to body press weaken because otherwise, um, that's just yeah. No, we lost. Okay, I'm not using this team anymore. This is the not working for me. Have I checked Hamster Mania's Lunala team? We can check it out. I saw that he made a video on it. I didn't. Hey, that's me. Um, CB Vish is cool. I think I'd rather have this be an Araquanid. Um, I'm not sold on Specs Entei. Okay, so I would love to watch this video together, but sadly, I am on a Mac, and that makes doing this entire like stream setup very difficult for audio. I'm just happy that I managed to get music playing. To be honest, Macs are weird. Like it's a pain in the butt. That's also why I'm not like playing on card. Is because I have two ports on my computer, and one of them is my monitor / charger, and one of them is my mic. And other than that, I do not have a place to put my my capture card. So that's why the XDL videos, I have a second like really old kind of dinky computer that literally cannot like the capture card will lag if I run it on there. So I just like connect my mic to that and do audio and the webcam and then play on the computer that you're seeing right now that is like capable of actually streaming. So I can't like listen to the audio right now. This seems like it's. I like this a little more. It's a little more aggressive, right? And that's. I think if you're running no protects, you better be running like very offensive Pokemon. That's the way that I personally see it. And this team has literally 0 protects on it. Yep. Yeah. Okay. I get it. Like this is the type of team that Kutesh uses to a lot of success. He's like a very hyper offensive player traditionally. Like he made Day 2 Worlds with like Blaziken and Bisharp in 2018. I went undefeated in Day 1 Worlds. Like he was insane. The problem with Lunala right now is the Suicune is a big Rising Mon. That is fair. Yeah, that's reasonable. Wait, did you say? Oh wait, is this really Specs Entei with Roar? No, it's not. It's Roar. It's attacking moves. Snarl is a weird one on Specs Entei, but you know, maybe you need it. Lunala stack Instant Amoonguss is a good core to start with. Yep, those are probably the 4 that you want. Let's see. What are we doing? What am I doing here? Like, what are we gonna use? Let's see. Are we building something? We can build something. Yeah, Lunala stack Instant Amoonguss is a good core to start with, and that's something to answer Suicune. That's reasonable. Part of it is like, I don't like building when I don't understand an archetype. Right, so I felt comfortable building a Zacian team because I had used a bunch of Zacian teams before. I knew the strengths and weaknesses, I knew how it played. I felt like I was in touch with it, and I felt like I knew what I was doing. Same with like Calyrex Shadow is the other archetype that I've played a lot of, so I'd be comfortable building Calyrex Shadow. Building something like Lunala when I haven't played with the Lunala before is a lot tougher. Okay, so here's the thing about Throat Chop is that it lasts for like one turn. It really doesn't do enough. Build Dragapult. Dragapult is not a build round. That's the thing. In a restricted format, you pick your restricted, you pick one other Pokemon that goes well with that restricted, and I think you start from there, or you start with a core. But you need to like have a strong foundation, or like a strong idea of what your game plans are. So like in Series 8, for example, I like started with not the Players Cup team, a different team. I started with this team, the 3 teams I built or participated with. I built a Groudon team that was like Groudon, Incin, Tapu Fini, very similar to Edu's team, but like different. But the idea for me with that team was that like the combination of Incin, Fini, P2 will always be Calyrex Shadow, and that's the thing that I want to do, and then I can figure out the rest from there. And Groudon felt like it worked with that core. And I cut the Terra Rune challenge with that. I built a team that I built Dragapultization, and that was because Kunal was like, yo, Dragapultization is broken. It's like, okay, I like Dragapult, I'll build that. And then I cut Victory Road, and I cut the RVGC circuit with that. And then we built the like Venusaur Groudon stuff that kind of just like was put together. Like, I don't know, Raghav did most of the work there. So it's starting with, you either start with a core, right? Like you start with Groudon Venusaur, you start with Groudon Venusaur and Incineroar Charizard, or you start with like a combination of 2 Pokemon that you think are very good that work together. Throat Chop is the best dark move on Incineroar. And to conclude that thought, that's why I'm not a Pokemon that you build around. It's a Pokemon that you like put on the team as Mon 4 or 5, if not Mon 6. So Throat Chop is the best dark move on Incineroar. It's not necessarily a solution to this Suicune problem. As we saw last game, you click Throat Chop, you click U-turn, Throat Chop expires. You don't have enough time to use it. Use Arash's Calyrex team. Is that the team he used in the Players Cup thing? The invitational tournament? I feel like those teams are... It's a starting point. It's not something... But there's like other starting points for Calyrex. Let me pull up the team. Give me a Pokepaste. Don't give me that. This is just... Okay, this is like not anything special. This is pretty standard stuff. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Just like... this is just like Incin, Rillaboom, Calyrex. Like, Yuki's team is very similar to this. It's so... Cyan, it's not an auto loss into Tornogre because it has Scarf Alaki. It sucks into Scarf Ogre, yeah, absolutely. You have to really take advantage of like your Urshifu, I assume, into that. If you had Drum Beating on Rillaboom, it might be a little more reasonable. Scarf Alaki is so bad into Scarf Ogre is the problem. I can't justify running that. And yeah, you do. I guess you could knock off the Ogre and then try to abuse it. That's hard to do on a team that is trying to pivot, and then you don't get to bring the Incineroar. And you're bringing like Calyrex, Urshifu, Rillaboom, Regieleki into that, and you're clicking. I guess you can click knockoff, but you have to deal with the Tornadus, you have to. I guess you can hit Urshifu. You can Surging Strikes the Tornadus. You're forcing them to click your Sash, so you're forcing them to click a double up into it, and then you get the knockoff off, or you're forcing them to click Tailwind. I can see the lines. It doesn't seem great. Elite Elky Urshifu. They click Tailwind Water Spout. So the problem is, Arcel, that you don't get to say not every ogre is Scarf when like it's still like a reasonably well represented archetype. So I think that the things that are interesting to me right now in terms of team building, I still think Dawn Wings is kind of cool. Looking at like Kutesh's Lunala team, this is a cool team. This is kind of the more... Lele's team was this weird team where like it didn't have Protect, but it didn't try to play like an aggro team. Kutesh's team is like, I'm going to go all in. And I respect that a lot more. Or not that I respect that a lot more, but like I'm more inclined to run something like that. Dawn Wings, I think, fits on the team like this. When you have the Indeedee, I think you would need the Indeedee on Dawn Wings' team to at least immediately threaten the Calyrex. And so you aren't reliant on it. Like this team, looks like the EV spread is to live a Calyrex Shadow or Astral Barrage. I think you're allowed to just say, I have other interest to that. Such as potentially Wide Guard Stack Attacka. Potentially. Or an Entei that has Crunch, like AV Entei with Crunch would also do it. Or Scarf Entei with Crunch. Both of them do similar things, I guess. Scarf Entei with Crunch probably needs a little more help positioning, because otherwise they click Tailwind and they click Astral Barrage and you lose. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe you just lead Indeedee Entei and you say you don't get to lead Calyrex. That's like reasonable. I don't know. Anyways, Dawn Wings or like this type of Lunala team is interesting to me. It's very clear that I cannot bring Lunala tomorrow. Like it requires more practice. So maybe that's like a next week thing. I'm interested in. I think that Tornogre is something that I probably should like to learn how to play. It's a useful thing to know. I'm still very capable of using Zacian. And then there's maybe an argument to run. I think Calyrex Shadow is something that I kind of want to build around as well, because Cali Shadow, again, if you look at the last Desafio Latam tour, which is, I'm only looking at top 8. They only released the top 8 teams, but again, I played in it, Sohai played in it, Mike played in it. None of us faced a Calyrex Shadow the entire tournament. That is, there was some overlap, and Flight 1 was not fully represented in that sample size because Sohai played 6 games and Mike and I played most of our games against Flight 2. But it really says something when Sohai played 6 games, I played 8 games, and Mike played 13 games, and none of us faced a Calyrex Shadow. Just like it's not present. I don't know if that means that like people aren't running it or people are teched hard enough against it that it didn't have a good record. Ink said he didn't play Calyrex Shadow either. Yeah, Ink was in my flight. Because I remember I was one spot ahead of him in the rankings. So Calyrex Shadow is something that I think would be interesting to build around, just because if it's falling off in popularity, it means it needs to be re-innovated. It's a very like metagame responsive team, and so I think the good versions are running Entei, and the Entei is being responded to now like really heavily. So the problem with Calyrex Shadow is that every team has at least 3 answers to it. I disagree. Disagree. Name the 3 responses to it on Mike's team. Knockoff Rillaboom, Incineroar, Scarf Urshifu. Right? Those are all responses that fold to speed control. Those are all responses that, like if you take one KO, you've answered it. And also, you don't get to bring all three of them. You get to bring two of them, usually. The three responses on Jarvis's team are Weavile, was it Scarf Urshifu on that team? Maybe not. Just like Scarf Kyogre. It was Scarf Kyogre, right? Yeah, okay. I think we got to the same conclusion. You need to like re-innovate it. You need to like it's a responsive to the metagame. Entei was really good into the metagame, which is why like I liked Inoshi's team a lot. And Jackson's team a lot. They were abusing Entei to the fullest, and they were saying that was your secondary damage dealer. Entei is very capable. Entei is maybe still in that Pokemon in that role, but like people have responded to Entei, and so the problem isn't that like people have responded to Calyrex. Of course, people are going to respond to Calyrex. It's still one of the big three. The things that Calyrex was using, people have built to beat the standard Calyrex teams. And so you need to re-innovate Calyrex to like abuse other offensive weapons. And Calyrex has the access to like every offensive weapon imaginable because it doesn't need the Life Orb. It's crazy. Calyrex doesn't. There are a lot of Calyrex teams that run Life Orb, right? But Calyrex can run Spell Tag very easily and then give the Life Orb to another powerful attacker. It can run Choice Specs like we saw on Jax's team, which still didn't run Life Orb. It just ran Triple Choice. I don't think that's necessarily correct anymore, but you know. It was Sash or Shifu on the Rain team. Of Santi, I don't remember if Mike. I think Mike might have posted the paste in our group chat. I might be able to pull that up. What is playing? Whatever. I just played an NCS mix, so. Sorry, let me see if I can pull up the team. Because he sent me all of the tournaments that all the teams that he faced for the team report. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, okay, it was Focus Sash or Shifu. So this I think actually might have just been Santi's team exactly. Let me pull Santi's team up and compare it. Oh yeah. Santi had a Rillaboom over the Ferrothorn that was on this guy's team. This was the open team sheet of the person who got second place in the Desafio tournament. So very, very similar, including the Sasher Shifu. But yeah, okay. So okay, we're not running Specs. We're not running Scarf Calyrex Shadow. Defensive Calyrex Shadow team plays well into Calyrex Shadow answers like Instant and Knock off Rilla. I think that if the common answers are Instant and Knock off Rilla, you don't get to play defensively. Because those are the two best defensive Pokemon in the format. I think that means that you get to like find responses to those Pokemon that are offensive, that can like power through that combination of Pokemon. Excuse me. Like Entei, right? Like Entei was the big one that just like threatens Rillaboom, ignores Incineroar, and just like if he has Stone Edge, you're doing 70% to Incineroar. What about Nasty Plot Sash Calyrex? Every team has a Rillaboom. That's the problem. Calyrex Shadow Kiss, I think I saw a Japanese team that did well with that. I wonder if I can find that paste. Maybe I can find that. Is it? No. Maybe not. Okay. I know I saw the Calyrex Shadow Kiss team. So I was thinking instead of Togekiss running a Clefairy, but I was running the Calcs and it maybe didn't get there as much as I wanted it to. Togekiss does a lot of the same things in that Dazzling Gleam is very good. Was it Scope Lens? Oh, the Rose Tower LCQ. Yeah, that's it. I'm sure I can find that. Man, Rose Tower has to just do better in terms of advertising. They just like they just post when their tournaments are and that's it. Like they used to like do cool graphics and stuff. EVs are mine, sets are the same. Okay, cool. Let's just look at that. Thank you. Yeah, this is good. I'm not just gold on Scarf Elky, but beyond that, like yeah. Oh, and we have the it was scope lens. That's what I was it scope lens? They just did not. Okay, so we would have to. I list of opponents and matches. No team. Okay, sure, fair enough. I think Scope Lens is. They posted a report in Japanese. Okay, good to know. I'm always scared to click on someone's Twitter if I don't know them because there's like a 50-50 chance that they just have like literally porn, like anime porn. So we'll see. We're playing the roulette. Also, all of these things are hidden, sensitive content. So like, it's really really shouldn't be clicking these live on stream. This does not look like it's it. Okay, never mind. Yeah, okay. So Calyrex Shadow is cool. Those are what I'm leaning towards right now. Calyrex Shadow is probably easier for me to build. I don't think I want to go do team building on stream is a thing. That's like not... That's a process, you know? Laddering with teams that I steal is a lot easier. How we did on time? It's been 2 hours. Wow. Well, you know that if there are a certain subset of answers to an otherwise oppressive mon, then the standard response is to put a Goth on those teams, trap those things. It's too bad that Calyrex Shadow and Goth share many weaknesses. Oh yeah, I was talking about that at some point. Calyrex Shadow Goth seems kind of cool. The same idea, right? You just trap the thing that's scary and like fake it out and then KO it. But more than that, you trap the like they can't always have their instant and Rillaboom on the field. Now granted they're going to be pivoting a lot, but if you can use powerful Pokemon to force them into faking out, which is something that you might have to do, and then like Landorus is a Pokemon that really forces out fake outs, for example, abuse Gothitelle, and force them to like have a Pokemon on field that isn't instant, isn't Rillaboom, and so it doesn't have pivoting moves, it doesn't have a way to hit Calyrex, and then you just like get one Astro Barrage off, you get your boost, you've won the game. I really just think that's it. I think that's like kind of a sick concept. Goth Ogre sounds really sick. Probably like it probably works. I just don't know if it seems like it's a much more difficult team to build than Calyrex. Calyrex is like maybe the easiest team to build. Not necessarily well, but to a level of competence. Right, you can put Calyrex with almost anything next to it, and if you have a clear idea of how you're winning games, a lot of you're gonna win a lot of games. Thank you for the follows. Perish Trap Calyrex Shadow. No, they play very differently. People like to. This is maybe like the problem with people trying to build Gothitelle is people try to shoehorn Perish into it when Perish isn't very good right now because, again, Instant Rillaboom exists, Ghost types exist, and you don't want to, like Perish isn't very good. It requires you to run another bad Pokemon on the team, which is Politoed. Politoed isn't, it's like, Politoed has utility on Zacian teams, So like it's easier to justify running Zacian, Politoed, Gothitelle. Don't, but even then, like you're trying to do too much when you're restricted as the good Pokemon on your team. Which isn't to say that Perish Trap isn't good in restricted formats. My favorite team in Ultra Series was a Perish team that like Ashton built with Evildon, but that like worked for very specific reasons, I think. And also, yeah, I don't know. Anyways, so thank you all for tuning in. I think I'm getting hungry right now. It's about lunchtime for me. And I don't think I'm making that much progress right now. I think I need to like sit down and team build, and that's not like a process that I really do on stream, or necessarily that I'm especially comfortable doing on stream. But I appreciate all of you tuning in. Let me answer a couple of questions. What is an off-meta restrictor that you think is probably slept on? Dawn Wings. I've been talking that up all stream. I've been trying to figure out why no one's using it. Use Dawn Wings. Experimenting with Suicune on Calyrex Shadow. I can definitely see that working. Suicune definitely seems very strong there. If they don't have drum beating on Rillaboom, then Suicune is much better into it. And if they have drum beating, they don't have knockoff, so I can see that working really well. I'm going to probably do some team building on my own today and try to figure out what I'm using for tomorrow, or maybe I'll just default back to Pelipper stuff and then figure it out for next week. But yeah, I'm planning on streaming more often. I'm planning on streaming if everything goes well, which I cannot guarantee it will. I will be streaming on Monday mornings and Thursday evenings. Realistically, knowing me, you maybe get one of those too. But you know, it'll maybe try let's I hope that I can get around to that, and yeah, that should be a good time. So I'm going to hand you off to someone else. Let me scroll through the Pokemon Sword and Shield section. Yeah. And again, thank you all for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And at some point, you know, the goal is to get to affiliate pretty soon. And how do I do a raid? I gotta figure that out. Raid channel. All right. Thank you all for tuning in.